Good morning. Yesterday I had a fantastic breakthrough. I found that perfect sweet spot where I can keep telling the story that I want to tell about my body and my face in my head without any resistance popping up. Any resistance. So that was really spectacular. And you start, when you finally found that place, and it's been, I have to say, it's been a year that I have sometimes almost tapped into the feeling. For the body it was much easier, but for the face it's been hard. I've been sort of like with a little probe going into different types of thoughts and feeling for the resistance in the belief in that statement. And it's been historically until yesterday a challenge. And since we know that that is really the only thing that matters, uh, removing the resistance, because everything else that I could have concocted in my head as a desire and plan and design for my body and mind and hair is already been created. Poof, done. You know, it's not a problem for the universe to gather together all the necessary molecules and atoms and minerals and whatever it is that we're made of to create the thing that I want to see. But the only part of creation that is challenging and really is deal maker or breaker is the resistance that we put up to those magical thoughts, because we say, oh, that would be so nice, but to a variety of degrees we say the but, and the but is sometimes teeny tiny and sometimes absolutely gigantic and anywhere in between, and that does not open or rather it gives the gates shut to the new design to flow in. So, because everything's energy and everything is a question of vibration, which you guys know by now. So anyway, the trick is to find, to talk yourself up the ladder of faith and belief. So wherever you are, you start, you go to hope, you go to, I don't know where my camera is, I keep looking into different directions, I think it's there. You go to hope, you go to enjoyment. You see if, for example, looking at your progress makes you feel worse. And if it does, then you don't. You just feel throughout your day or whenever it is that you're giving attention to your project, you feel for that sweet spot that feels magical and giddy and frisky and excited and just yay, like when you were a little kid. You have to get to that feeling of yay, this is so freaking awesome. And I found it. Like, so personally, what I've done before for the body was I found that in the bathroom before I go to do the shower, if I close my eyes and do a total visualization, like a sweep through my body, and it just sort of like a sculptor, just with my hands, and not necessarily like touching, sometimes not touching, but the skin, but you just sculpt it in the air. You just sculpt around yourself this shape that you're envisioning, and then you charge it up with a lightning bolt of joy and love and everything possible in the universe, and then you just sort of, this is what I did, and then I would just sort of absorb all that that jolt of power, and it was kind of like, creating a sculpture and then shooting it with life, and then just letting the rest of the energy flow out peacefully and feel the tingle of all that power just literally mutating cells in the body, eating up the fat and tightening the limbs and tightening the skin and juicing up the muscles and just sort of like a CGI type of thing in the movies, you know, and just creating that. So that was not hard for me at all. I also recalled moments, specific moments of beauty and joy, to remember what it felt like to live inside a very, 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 very fit body. And I just sort of stayed there. I swayed in that memory of the fit body. In particular, I had a dress that I loved the way it fluttered in the wind against my muscles, on my legs and on my stomach and on my back. I could just feel it, that I was so fit and strong and tight, of like a little bullet. And this dress was so silky and delicate, and it just fluttered all over me, and it was a magnificent feeling, and I remember it. And so I would recall that, and I would recall the body. For the face, however, I discovered that I couldn't get myself there quite as easily. I couldn't sculpt, and I couldn't remember, and I certainly couldn't draw well enough. I looked at pictures that reminded me of me, but then again, I mean, I don't look that different. I don't look any different, actually, if you ask me. I look and I don't look any different than my pictures. I just saw a picture yesterday by accident on Facebook from New Year's Eve party 20 years ago. No, 15 years ago. 15 years ago, exactly 15 years ago. And it was like my first picture on Facebook, you know, and you can go back and forth, and then my very last one, and they were like identical. The same face, even. I was making the same like expression, and it was like, whoa, cool. So that helps, but I had to find new ways for the face, specifically for me, to put myself in that place of feeling the transformation. And you have to, it's imperative, you have to feel the transformation. And so what I discovered worked for me. So I tried that. I tried looking at pictures. They were stuck on my mirror back there for a while. It didn't seem to help, so I removed them. I kept a picture of a favorite tree that I used to climb when I was a little kid, that I found a lot of peace and serenity in there. So anything that you can use, anything at all throughout your day, to get yourself one step, 2 steps, 3 steps closer to feeling giddy, excited, grateful, anticipating, like a kid going to Disneyland or whatever it is that you were excited to do as a kid. Anything to keep you in that vibration, regardless of your project, whatever your project is what's needed. And I found that writing about myself really, really worked. And I went into old memories of things I had written about myself in the past, and making new ideas. So it was like I was writing about myself in the present tense. My eyes are so green. My blonde hair frames my glowing face, and you add whatever you want in there, whatever, and you just keep going and keep going and keep going. For me, it felt very alive. For me, I was in there, I was in the story, and because that's really what you need to do. This world is all a story, right? So it's really, 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 really hard to remember that sometimes. Sometimes it's easy to remember that something is a story when it's very basic, and just you look at it and you go, that's not, doesn't have any content really. And then what society would call real life tragedies would happen, and that's when it's really, really, really hard to remember that it's a story. And it's a story that we have collectively created, and that we are in the process every single second of every day to recreating and co-creating. And so we're co-creating. But in this particular case, we're talking about personal projects like rejuvenation of the body right now. So, and particularly the face and the hair. Anyway, so yes, it was hard for me. That's all I wanted to say. It was hard to find the sweet spot that allowed me to get into the creation mode of true belief and joy and excitement. And I knew that I was going to find it. I had no doubt, obviously, and I knew that this whole thing is going to come about just as I want it. And I know that from experience. I know that from having done these projects since I can remember myself, since I was little. I mean, to begin with, when I was growing up, I created this body, not knowing what I was doing, but I picked things from people that I liked. I said, oh, yes, I like her legs. I really like her waist. Wow, I love tiny, tiny little waists, and I love flat bellies with juicy booties. I said that when I was 6, just looking at other ladies walking down the street. I remember very specifically looking at a adult cartoon, because back then they didn't filter stuff, and it was an adult cartoon in the regular paper, like at the end, like the New Yorker will have these sort of like dark humor jokes, whatever. Anyway, there was a girl with these flotation devices for boobs, and they were popping up out of the water. And she was basically like floating with them, with these like perfectly round boobs, perfectly round nipples on them. And I was like, oh, yes, I want those. Thank you very much. And then I got them, absolutely got them by 16. And then I did what most people do. I started complaining. Oh, because they were too big, and I'm not joking, and I did realize at that time that I had created them, I did, but the reality of living with them, and I actually, lessons learned, I did not think that by wishing them away they could go away, but oh my God, can they? Yes. So now I'm wishing them back, is all. They bothered me so much, and it was difficult to shop. It was any girl with very large breasts and a tiny waist will tell you that it's wonderful to wish for, and it does look amazing, but you can't function very easily at all in society, and certainly not shop for pretty little things that you might want to wear, because you look like Dolly Parton no matter what you put on, and then you just look like you should be working on the corner. It's hard to dress nice and cute and sexy without looking like you're trying to be bad words. Anyway, or for that matter, without stopping traffic and just completely disrupting any functional parts of your day. Anyway, got off topic. I've been practicing this for a very long time, unknowing what it is and what it's called and how it works exactly, and what I was doing very, very successfully. So that is why I knew very well that this will work one way or another, and that I just need to find that sweet spot of non-resistance and complete and utter compliance from myself and the universe and everything else. And I also added in my little description and I went on and on and on and on. I went on about each strand of hair and the follicles and the subcutaneous, I love to say the word subcutaneous, as you've noticed, and the size of my irises and the effect it has on the world, even positive effects, and the effect that it perpetually has on itself, meaning that I even went in to say that this is a ongoing creation that I will forever maintain and add to and expand, and that it makes me feel grateful for the continuous expansion and mutation and change for the positive, and that it will. And I talked about my nails, and I talked about my toenails, like everything. You just go into a love story is the point, a love story of every single little part of your body. that is what I did because it worked for me. All I'm saying is I followed the rabbit. I followed the rabbit into the hole. I found a thing that really got me into that dreaming, um, anticipation, like, oh my God, this is so much fun doing that honestly at this point I don't even care if I get it, because I found something that I genuinely so much enjoy just doing it. So back in the day, long time ago, I used to be jogging. So enjoyed jogging. I couldn't care less about the positive side effects it had. I just would lose myself in the jogging, in the run, in the body, working together to carry me forward. That was like a song, and I couldn't care less where I was going, what I was doing, how long for, or what timer I needed to use, or whatever, right? And that is the way. That is the way of life and creating magical things. Is you gotta find a spot where you are so having fun doing the activity that you think is gonna get you there, that you lose sight of the destination, and then before you know it, it does show up for anything, for money, relationship, love, and incredible things, which is what we're pushing the boundaries of here, is the comprehensible, the easily acceptable, achievable things. Because if I told you I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to eat all these special things, and I'm going to, track my eating and all this other stuff, I'm going to go to the gym this many times a day, and I'm going to get this body, right? Okay, sure, yeah, I've done that. Millions of people have done that, and it does work. Does it work? Yes, it works. Um, no, we're trying to do magic. We're not trying to do magic. We are doing magic, but we're trying to um, record it, track it, only for the purposes of actually spreading the word that this happens every single day, all over the place, all the time. People do this. They do this whether they're aware of doing it or unaware of doing it. And you can do it intentionally, and you can target it towards things that seem like they would not be in the realm of mutable, affectable, I don't even know if that's a word, uh, things. And so that's why um, I picked this to talk about. Okay, this is long enough. Gotta go. Bye.